The Dogs, in association with the Greyhound Board of Great Britain.
Well, hello and welcome to another edition of The Dogs. We're at the Pavilion at Romford for the Coral ESSEX VASE final night. Last year, you know, it threw up one of the best races of 2008. Will it be the same for 2009? Highlights later in the programme.
Also in this week's programme, heat action from the Ladbroke Christmas Festival from MONMORE. GRA Managing Director Clive FELTHAM talks to us about the future plans for Wimbledon Stadium. And speaking of Wimbledon, we have a report from the William Hill Oaks semi-finals.
Last month, the GRA announced radical plans for the Plough Lane Stadium, involving the shutting of the main grandstand and switching the racing operation to the far side Mick the Miller stand. A move designed to cut costs and safeguard racing's future there. The producer of The Dogs, Clive Lawrence, was shown around what will soon become the grandstand by Clive FELTHAM, MD of the GRA. Clive explained how quickly the company had to put their plans into place.
It's been fast decision making, that's for sure. I mean, we've been concerned about Wimbledon for some time, but this sort of solution, you know, I think provides a win-win as much as you possibly can in what are difficult times.
Was there one aspect that prompted the decision?
No, I think we came to the conclusion. I mean, the grandstand, we were just pouring money into it. We'd had a further sort of a local authority stroke insurance assessment. And quite frankly, we were spending more and more money just to make do a poor stand. And I think then the whole thought process of, you know, well, what are we doing this for? We've got, you know, we have got a stand that, you know, cost us 2 million circa a few years ago that was here. And I think from that, you then begin to spring forward and say, well, actually, this is a good place to regroup.
Was there any stage on the table of a closure of Wimbledon?
No, I don't think we you know, we're in the dog racing game. We're in a difficult time. It's not a clean, we'll do this and then we'll exit.
Well, the GRA are in the dog racing game, but Risk Capital haven't been.
Well, they're still with us. You know, we're still operating dog tracks. I don't think anything's changed really. They're not. You know, they haven't changed their tack as such. They expect performance. You know, we've got interest payments to make and get on with business, and that's always they're pushing this. I mean, the great thing is, remember, this step we've got to invest, and they've supported that investment in coming here. You know, it's true to say they look at all their businesses, and you know, this is a tough business simply because of the overhead. I mean, that's the real killer here. You know, this massive site. You know, rattling around on those quiet nights is just impossible.
Well, let's look at some of the numbers. How much initially do you think it's going to cost to convert the Mick the Miller stand?
Well, remember that, you know, everyone's typically, when you do a stand, it's a big number. As I say, we spent 2 million on this stand, so the advantage of this stand is it's really a brand new stadium. So because we knocked down the roof and all the infrastructure, so it's a new steel frame stand. So what this grant is and our investment now is about doing downstairs to get it up to the standard that you need for those customers. And then upstairs, you know, are nicely tidying, you know, improving things, table, furniture, all the sort of things. Because as you can see around you, Clive, it's, you know, it's a good facility. It would be as good as most tracks in the country.
So what's your budget number?
Budget number is 400k all up, supported by the fund in the normal sort of 50% grant, and they're very supportive simply because they want Wimbledon to survive the same as we want. So, you know, we do have a joint position here really.
Support for the GRA's plans has come from the Greyhound Board of Great Britain, and we caught up with the board's acting chief executive Richard Haylor and asked him how he viewed the move.
Yeah, I think it is a positive one. Yeah, I think the owners and trainers will be relieved there. I think the racing public will be pleased that Wimbledon's here to stay. I think the plan that we know about seems to make good sense, that they're using the side of the track which suits the business best, and I think we'll get the best out of that side. And if they put good investment in and make a good facility for the public, I think it'll work well.
Nearly £200,000 of fund money going in. Have you asked for any guarantees?
Well, the fund always has some guarantees built in. There's a system set up where if a track closes or if it sells its assets within 5 years of receiving a grant, that those grants are repayable, less a small amount of depreciation. So there's no danger of the money disappearing at all, and at least for a 5-year guaranteed period, we know it will come back to the industry if the track is closed for any reason, but we're obviously confident it won't be.
The positive message is that the dog racing will continue at Wimbledon, but the short-term message is quite negative for a large percentage of your staff.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, terrible sort of meeting. A lot of these people have been with us a long time, but you've got to think of the whole. We want dog racing to continue, and you know, so it's like the trainers. You know, very difficult meeting with the trainers, but they accept. You know, they're most probably thinking that meeting with me was about closure of Wimbledon.
The man who has to deal with the changes on the racing side is Wimbledon racing manager Gary Matthews. This side of the track will, from March next year, house the stewards box and new winning line, and the standard distance is also set to change. Will it be close to the current 460 and 480 metre races?
Probably somewhere around the 475 mark. It's you know, we'd like 460, we'd like 480, but I think one distance would actually suit everyone. So that's what we're looking at, and the position of the stewards box would probably have something to say with that.
Are you looking forward to being in the round, as it were, in the stewards box? Everyone will be able to see you?
Yeah, we've had a look at it. We know that Paul are actually in the same situation, so if it's good enough for them, then we'll take that on board.
Now, when you first heard about the news, were you positive?
Yeah, I think you have to be. I think in today's climate with ground racing, you have to be positive. You know, they could have quite easily come in, shut the doors and said you're not a going concern. They've looked at it, seen that we are the top stadium in the country and that it needs to exist. Risk Capital have backed us, and they're quite happy to back us for the next 5 or 10 years.
Keith, you looking forward to the challenge?
I am indeed, yes. The option is one that we don't want to think about, and I think we're making the right decisions, and we're hoping to make it a real wow factor when people first come over here.
You're after a wow factor, Keith, but you're not spending a great deal of money on it, so how can you get that wow factor?
Well, the biggest spend is downstairs. Upstairs is still in very good condition from when it was built 7 years ago, 8 years ago. With the exception of having to install a restaurant upstairs, the money will be spent downstairs and bringing it up to scratch.
Capacity-wise, you're obviously reducing that significantly.
We're reducing significantly the capacity from the whole stadium down to just one side. It should still give us a capacity of between 3,000 to 3,500, and in my time here, admittedly only since February, we've only ever beaten that once, and that was on the Derby where we were under 4,000.
Now, looking at the capacity inside, well, the top floor looks very capacious. Outside, though, people are slightly concerned about the amount of room outside.
Well, they will still have the first, what will be the fourth and the first bends, which is actually more outside space than is currently used at the stadium.
But the bookmaker area?
The bookmaker area is the whole of the front of the stand. It will please our smokers as well, because the whole area is a smoking area in front of the stand this side, as opposed to on the other side where it's very, very small.
You give me very positive answers to all these questions. Is there any doubts you got?
I don't have any myself. I'm 100% behind this. I really think it will work, and I think it's the rebirth of Wimbledon.
I mean, the atmosphere over here will be completely different to what we've got over the other side. I mean, you can have a decent crowd over the other side and it's lost. Here, I think you'll feel, like the rest of the tracks in the country, single-sided, you'll get a real buzz about it.
But as far as the running surface is concerned, you will be correcting the supposed faults with the third bend as it is now.
Absolutely. No. That'll be, you know, key to this really, to make sure that we, you know, spend the time on that really and make sure it's right. Because of course we don't want to restrict the entries in any way. And I'm pretty confident we can do that. We did it before with the first bend over the other side. So I think that's just getting the right people involved, doing it early, you know, doing that work so that we're ready as soon as possible in March, and then dogs can get a run and people get a bit more confidence then, don't they?
Do you have a cut-off point? Do you think if it was to drag into April you wouldn't go for it because of course...
Won't drag into April. No, it'll be there.
Now the investment from Risk Capital guaranteeing the future of Wimbledon for hopefully the next 5 or even 10 years. Does that put pressure on any of the other tracks? Do Risk want to get some money back from somewhere else?
No. You know, I mean, Risk of, you know, in terms of they're obviously investors in the business. They weren't short term. I mean, the fact that we're now 5 years on with them, you know, it's a tough economic model, which is the same for everyone else, really. But no more pressure than we always have, Clive, like all businesses.
So let's look another 5 years ahead. Where would you like to see Wimbledon at that point?
I'd like to see us in a much better shape. I'd like to see us in the stand and thinking about expansion. I'd like to see it with a bags contract. You know, I think, you know, it'd have all the ingredients, a smaller, more compact stadium, but still fit for purpose. You know, people 5 years ago wouldn't have thought Wimbledon would be still around. I mean, that age-old question in the Racing Post, where do you think the Derby will be? Well, 5 years ago they didn't say Wimbledon. It's still here, and you know, this bit of investment and this, you know, rebirth as such, I'm hoping will you know, give us something for the future, really.
Coming up after the break, plenty of open race action, including the Coral Essex Vase final. There was a big crowd at Romford last week for the Coral Essex Vase final, with £10,000 up for grabs. Before the main event, there were easy wins for Fire for Effect over 400 metres, Freedom Man over hurdles, whilst another local hope, Danbury Dodger, had to work harder for success in the marathon for trainer Jim Reynolds. Well, the bookmakers were kept busy with plenty of money in the ring, despite the current recession and the run-up to Christmas. In the feature, the Essex Vase Go Big Hitter, winner of the Champion Stakes over track and distance earlier in the year for trainer Dean Childs, proved a weak favourite for the race, drifting to 9-4. The David Prues-trained Bourne Masons was also sent off at those odds, whilst last year's finalists Droopy's Carvalho and Bubbly Totty were next in the betting.
And there's a bit of a roar go up here. Can Totty put things right for Paul Young? Can Droopy's Carvalho take another big prize? Or Go Big Hitter, away they go. It's Bourne Masons out fast. Leads up early, Bubbly Totty's in the pitch. After he's racing in third, comes one. That's Boulavogue. They come around the second bend, and two Bourne Masons with Bubbly Totty and Boulavogue. They go into the third bend. Totty goes round. Boulavogue's barged its way into contention. Then comes four Centurion Henry, and there goes Totty. Totty leading by 2 lengths here from one Boulavogue. They come round the final bend, and it's still Bubbly Totty with the advantage over one Boulavogue who's trying all the tricks in the trade. Boulavogue's hit the front. Boulavogue now goes on from 5 to his Carvalho. It's Boulavogue that wins the Coral Essex Vase final for Chris Cronin. A brave performance, his first Category 1 runner, and it's a winner. Boulavogue lands the spoils, a £10,000 prize for a young trainer. Well, the race had everything, didn't it? Had everything. And look at Chris, he is absolutely delighted.
Well, one of the features of the race was Boulavogue's blind determination to lead, barging into Bourne Masons and Bubbly Totty around the third and fourth bends. A fabulous performance from Boulavogue and also trainer Chris Cronin.
Can't praise the dog enough. He's run a superb race. I mean, when he turned, very handy. I thought, well, Bourne Masons found a little bit of trouble up front, but to come off the last bend with Bubbly Totty in front, I did fancy his chances of picking him up on the run-in, and he's run a superb race.
Well, a lot of people there saying, Bubbly Totty, how's he been picked up? Well, this dog is very strong, isn't he? And he just battles and he keeps fighting, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, all credit to Bubbly Totty, the way he ran, obviously, with the run-off last Friday. He's run a sensational race in third. But, I mean, all credit to our fella. He's done everything right through the competition, and just so proud for him and the owners.
Stay tuned and we'll see more of Boulavogue later in the programme.
So to Wimbledon for the semi-finals of the William Hill Oaks. The first semi-final saw the Irish bitch Tyra Liz go off a warm order. Owned and trained by PJ Fahey and lodging with Charlie Lister, she ran from 5. Keith Alsop's Slick Sue was next in at 4-1.
And away we go for our first semi-final. A fantastic start in the middle of the track from track 4, Cabra Exclusive. The favourite 5, Tyra Liz, is moving around in second. It's 3, Slick Sue in third. A bit of trouble out the back door, but at the head of affairs, it's 4, Cabra Exclusive. Now being gathered and grabbed by Tyra Liz, who goes on at the third turn. The Irish bitch in control here. Quickly puts a foot down and goes about 3 clear from 4. Still racing second. Then it's 3, Slick Sue in third. 1, Special Liberty. He's making ground up the inside. 5 is away and gone. Tyra Liz wins. It's close for places. Just Cabra Exclusive. And looks like Slick Sue in third.
Well, PJ, that made the journey worthwhile. Yes, it was brilliant. She was absolutely awesome. You know, she's a brilliant bitch. I've always said she's definitely the best bitch I've ever owned, and I've had some good bitches, but she's special.
But you haven't had a lot of luck with bitches in finals, I understand.
No, actually, we've been, I think, in 27 finals, and we've yet to win one. But hopefully, we have to come to the UK to break our duck, and maybe next Tuesday night it will be our night. I have to give great credit to Paul Hennessy, because Paul done a huge amount of work with her in the last 3 or 4 months, and she's really blossomed since she went to Paul. And now we're lucky enough that we're under the roof of Charlie Lister, so I'd like to thank Charlie as well and Pat for the kindness they've shown to Conor over the last few weeks.
Liz and Rab McNair, fresh from seeing Cabaret exclusive qualify behind Tyra Liz, now sent out Shaw's Dilemma from 6 in the second semi-final. The Puppy Oaks winner had the likes of Freedom Emma and Little Jig to beat.
And we're off and racing for our second semi-final, and Puppy Oaks winner on the outside here. Shaw's Dilemma gets a great start. 3 shows early pace, 5 Freedom Emma round the outside, but takes a bump at the first turn. And as they go down the far side, it's Shaw's Dilemma out in front, a couple clear from 1. That's Blondie racing second. Now 5 Freedom Emma running a big back straight and making inroads on the leader here. So head between the final 2 turns, it's still Shaw's Dilemma. 5 Freedom Emma ranges up in second. 1 Blondie's there, and 3 Little Jig's finishing well. May snatch third, but it's 6 who wins in style. Shaw's Dilemma takes our second semi-final.
After the 2 semi-finals, Duncan Gibson of the GBGB made the draw for Tuesday's final, overseen by Wimbledon RM Gary Matthews. Tyra Liz is odds-on favourite with sponsors Hills for the final, with the McNair Shaw's Dilemma heading the opposition to the Irish bitch, and Rab is delighted with her.
She's running great. She's won the Puppy Oaks. She's in the final of the Big Oaks, and what you've got to remember is she is still a puppy.
Yeah, absolutely. Be the youngest in the final.
Yeah, and I mean the Cabra bitch, she's still a pup too. She's a December, so and they've no had a lot. What they've got here is what they've had, like, you know. So, and the week off, young bitches, it'll probably do them a bit more good, you know.
Were you a little worried when Freedom Emma came looming up at the third bend there?
No, this bitch will stay all right, don't worry about that. The bitch was only taking a wee breather. She's got to fill up the lungs and then kick for home and that. She's young. Emma was a bit more experienced, and when that bitch hits in front, I'm never in doubt, never.
She stays the 480 very strong.
Yeah. And as I say, the quick running wouldn't be suiting the young bitches, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping the week's rest, it'll come nice for us.
And the draw for the finals worked out well for you?
It's worked out. I'm absolutely delighted with the draw for the final, because I definitely wanted the inside of my other bitch. My other bitch has got she's phenomenal coming out of the boxes just now, and hopefully we can play a wee bit of kind of teamwork here, and she can maybe take care of the Tyra Liz bitch and let my bitch zip up round the corner. If she gets round the corner, oi.
So the McNairs are doubly handed in the final, but it's this bitch and her handler who'll be eyeing victory for the Irish come Tuesday. Tyra Liz, the warm favourite for William Hill Oaks Glory.
Off to MONMORE now for the Ladbrokes Christmas Festival. We begin with the dogs, 480 heats. And away they go, and racing up towards the first bend. Great start, Target Classic through the centre. Leads up early. Cardam Burt trying to go with it up on this near side. Making ground is Magna Venture now on the inside. But all of a sudden, Target Classic has doubled the lead. Some 4 lengths clear at halfway. Magna Venture in second. Wide running Cardam Burt. Then comes Director's Ruler. They leave the others behind as they come around the final bend. And this is pure pace from Target Classic. This looks good. Target Classic wins by 3.5 lengths. Back in second, Magna Venturer. Up go the lids and away they go, and racing towards the bend. Eden Rocket trapped out well, going with it though. Barnfield Rocky on this near side. Comes Kelsborough Reject and Uncle Ollie. They scamper around the first 2 bends, and now Barnfield Rocky's taken up a lead. A length clear from Kelsborough Reject, looking for space. Uncle Ollie in behind them comes Eden Rocket as they come around the third bend, and still Barnfield Rocket staving off all the challengers. After these comes Uncle Ollie. Hill to Pokey didn't get a run as they come around the final bend, and it's Barnfield Rocky pulling out more. Wins here from Uncle Ollie and Hill to Pokey. There they go, running up towards the first bend. Nice break. Racket Hall Hero leads up early with Swift Rooster now, who barges into Racket Hall Hero around the turn. On the inside, I Pickle. What a dream run around the bends. It's I Pickle for champion trainer Mark Wallace, leading here by 2 lengths from Swift Rooster in second. After these comes Kilkenny Corto as they come around the final bend. There's no stopping I Pickle, coming off the back of a great win at Nottingham. Wins again here at MONMORE and beats Swift Rooster. Target Classic, who broke the track record, is the 5-4 favourite with the sponsors. If he conjures up another 4:08 sectional, it should be game over. If not, the draw may be perilous. Moving on to the 6:30 heats. And away they go, and running up towards the first bend and 5, Desi's Blue Boy out fast. 1, Desert Glory goes on. Boulavogue in a handy pitch. They're already breaking away here from 2, Farlow Rocket. Trouble for Corrick Vieri at the first bend, and Centurion Henry with a lot to do. Heading down the far side though, Boulavogue comes to join Desert Glory. Then comes Desi's Blue Boy. Inching closer is Centurion Henry as they come down towards the second last bend, and Boulavogue by no more than half a length. Centurion Henry looking for space as they come round the final bend. Boulavogue finding a little bit extra now, goes 2 lengths clear. There's bumping in behind. Boulavogue will win. Desi's Blue Boy back on the scene took second. Up go the lids, and they're racing on the inside. Hesley Dingo smartly to stride here. 2, Bodell Clare goes with it. After these comes 3, Ashling's Choice, who's a little bit wide on the track. A break back to Razamataz. Then comes Tufty's Chief, and Kinda Easy left it at the boxes, and a mountain to climb as they head down the far side. It's 1, Hesley Dingo with a lead of a length and a half over 2, Bodell Clare. After these comes 3, Ashling's Choice. Then comes 4, Razamataz. They come round the second last bend, and Bodell Clare, she's gone on and she's quickened 2 lengths clear now from Hesley Dingo, who can offer no more up the home straight. It's Bodell Clare who will win for Hazel Kemp and doubles the lead. Bodell Clare beats Hesley Dingo. There they go, racing up towards the first bend, and 3, Crown Rover out fast as expected, leads up early here. Rio Quando just taking care there of Raving Black at the bend. Also Droopy's Arshaven done no favours. A lap to go, and Crown Rover with a 2-length lead over Masterful, trying all its tricks now to try and get past. A break back to Droopy's Arshaven, who's running a good race now up into 3rd. After these comes 1, Rio Quando as they head into the second last bend, and Crown Rover, who led early, is 2.5 lengths clear. Has broken the back of Masterful. Still staying on is Droopy's Arshaven as they come up the home straight. Crown Rover makes all here for Jimmy Wright and wins from Droopy's Arshaven. Crown Rover 4-6 for the 630 metre final, recorded the quickest time 37.50. Many with early pace in the race, but Crown Rover's strength from the winning line to the winning line should see him through. Those finals are live on SIS on Friday afternoon, and in the evening there are opens at Coventry and Romford. Sunday's opens at Hove will also be live in the betting shops, courtesy of SIS. On Monday there are heats of the Henlow Gold Cup, the semi-finals of the National Sprint staged at Nottingham, and also opens at Romford. To find out more information on your local track over the Christmas period, click onto our website, thedogs.co.uk. Next Tuesday, we're transmitting live from Wimbledon for the William Hill Oaks Final. Make sure you don't miss it.
The Dogs, in association with the Greyhound Board of Great Britain.